Hello everybody, it's me again, UnstableVoltage, for another episode of How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, and today we're going to be having a look at the iron tanks from Railcraft. In the last video we started working towards converting our facility to run on biofuel, and instead of using the smaller Buildcraft tanks, I need somewhere with a larger capacity to store all the seed oil that I'm getting from squeezing seeds. The Railcraft iron tanks are a multi-block construction, and there are three different types of blocks required to build them. First of all, there's the standard iron tank wall blocks. There's the iron tank gauge, which allows you to see how much liquid is within the tank. And there's the iron tank valve, which serves as a connection point for pipes to get liquid in and out. Okay, so here we are back outside, and you might remember this from our previous video. Here we have our squeezer busy working away turning seeds into seed oil, and what I've done is I've temporarily disconnected the pipe from the Buildcraft tanks and turned off the redstone engine, so we're no longer pumping the seed oil out and it's just collecting in the squeezer's internal storage. So I've set aside a little space here in this corner where my Railcraft iron tank is going to be. Now, iron tanks will only work if you build them the correct size. They either have to be 3x3 blocks, 5x5, 7x7 or 9x9, and they can be anywhere from 4 to 8 blocks tall. I've decided I'm going to go for a 5x5 block tank. Haven't quite decided on the height yet, but I've used these wooden blocks here just to mark out the size of the tank. And what I'm going to do is build these blocks up, and the reason for that is I want to be able to access the bottom of my tank so I can pump out from it. Now, you don't need to pump out from the bottom of the tank. However, let's nerd pole him, finish these off. You can to get everything out of the tank, you either have to pump from the bottom level or the next level up. So I want some space at the bottom just so I can put my redstone engines in. So there I have a base to build my tank. So I'm just going to go around and put some scaffold up so I have a way to access the higher levels. Right, there we are. I've just threw some scaffold up so that I've got something to climb onto to get up here. And what I need to do now is build my frame. So, using the standard iron tank wall blocks, I am going to mark out the frame for my tank, which, as I said, is going to be 5x5 blocks. So let's do that. And I hadn't decided on the height, so I'm just going to build it up and see what looks right, I think. So there we go, there's the bottom, and I need to either go 4 or 5 blocks high. I haven't quite decided on that one yet. Let me just go around here and use the rest of the scaffolding to get up on this side. Right, okay, I've built my frame, so what I'm going to do now is knock down my scaffolding just so you can see what's going on, so I'll just do that. Right, there we are. I've destroyed all the scaffolding, and I also went back and made the tank 1 block higher, because with it being 5 blocks high as well as 5 blocks wide and in length, it looked square, and I didn't like the look of the square tank, so I've made it 1 block higher. The important thing is, however, is that the entire frame of the tank must be made out of the tank wall blocks, so the 4 corners and along the top edge and along the bottom edge must be made out of these blocks here. Now I'm going to do the rest of this in creative mode just because it's easier to get around and fill it in than it is trying to climb up on scaffold. So what we need to do is the inside of the tank must be hollow, but the walls must be filled in using any combination of the other block types. So what I'm going to do here is fill the bottom in, and I am going to leave 1 space near the front just here, and I'm going to put in an iron tank valve. Now that gives me a connection point to attach a pipe here so that I can draw out any of the fuel that is inside. In fact, what I'm actually going to do is I've changed my mind. I'm going to put it over here on this side and put the wall back in over there. So there's the bottom now filled in. Now what you have there, as I said, the valve is somewhere where you can actually connect the pipes to. Now we want to have the gauges. The gauges allow us to see how much fuel we actually have inside the tank. Now, as I said, you can actually use any combination of these. So if we wanted to, we could have one side that was completely made with gauges, like so, or we could have on the sides gauges that just go up the middle. It doesn't even have to go all the way up. We could make it so that the gauges just go 2 blocks up in the middle. As long as all of the sides are completely filled, we can let's do that the same on the other side as we did with that one actually. So let's do that there. And these gauges just serve as a cosmetic feature so you can see what liquid and how much liquid is in the tank. And what I'm also going to do on this side is just completely fill this side with the wall blocks. And I'm going to leave one gap at the top for another valve, because that's where I'm going to pump in. In fact, no, I think we'll pump in straight on the top. So we'll go up, and we will fill in the top. And I'm going to leave one space in the middle just here for my valve. And once that is done, it should turn into a tank. If I go over to the tank and right click on it, you can now see that I have a gauge that tells me how much it's holding, which is 2.4 million, which is quite a lot, and I can also put things in and out by bucket. Right, okay, so I've destroyed my Buildcraft tanks because I don't need those any longer. It was a little bit of a shame to waste the seed oil that was in them, but we didn't have much. So I'm going to get some cobblestone waterproof pipe, and I'm going to pipe in from the squeezer, and we're going to go up and onto the top of the tank. So let's just see if we can nerd pole our way up here. Probably the easiest way of doing it. I don't like to do things in creative mode, I prefer to do them more manually. Maybe that's a little bit too high up, but that should work. And obviously to right click there, if I shift and right click, it'll let me put the pipe down. And as you can see, the pipe now connects to the tank. So let me just drop down, this is going to hurt. And if I go around, if we just look at the squeezer actually, we can see the squeezer does have some seed oil in there. If we turn the redstone engine on, and the redstone engine should now start to pump seed oil out, and it is doing, which is fantastic. Let's give that a few seconds to do its thing. Okay, it looks like the seed oil is making its way in. If we right click, we can see we are now getting seed oil into the tank. So that's absolutely brilliant. You can't really see it so far in the gauge because there's so little of it in there, it doesn't really make it easy to see. But at least we have room underneath the tank to attach another pipe and another engine so we can pump the seed oil out when we want to take it to our biogas engines. Now, one of the good features with these iron tanks is they're actually reconfigurable and resizable. If I decided that I wanted to make the tank bigger or taller, or if I wanted to add an extra valve or add extra gauges, I can do that. If we just have a look, and we can see we do have seed oil in there, 1600 at the moment. If I take my pick and break one of these blocks, as you can see, it is no longer a tank. The gauges have now regained their horizontal lines, and if I right click, nothing happens. This is no longer a tank. But if I pick the tank block back up the iron wall and place it back where it was, it becomes a tank once more, and if we right click on it, our seed oil is still in there. The block which carries the information telling the tank how much is in is the centre block at the bottom, this block here. So if I were to destroy that block and then place it back, the tank would be empty. So the idea is you can break the tank and reconfigure it, providing you never break the middle block at the bottom. If you do that, everything in the tank will be lost. So there you go. Massive storage capacity for practically any liquid in the game, and it looks quite nice as well. So guys, thanks once again for watching, and I hope as always you found this video both informative and entertaining. If you have, please like, subscribe and share so I can continue to make these videos. And if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see in future videos, if there's a particular machine or item you'd like to see me build and demonstrate, either send me a message or leave it in the comments below. Until then, I have been UnstableVoltage, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!